French school group have just hit the trail. There's about, I don't know, 20 of them. Bit of a later start this morning. This is a great old schoolhouse. It's super comfy, wonderful breakfast. We thought, oh no, we got UHT orange juice this morning, but it's a freshly squeezed, really cool coffee machine. Oh, can't ask for a better start. This was rammed last night. Pretty good reason. It was oh wow, little rucksacks. It's the only place to eat in town. Ah, little puppy. Hello.
So this is why we decided to eat here this morning.
Hello. Oh, good choice. I would choose this one too. A heavy smell of hay this morning. It's like, where's that coming from? Oh, okay. There's a hay. Sun's coming down. Look at that blue sky. Didn't actually get that hot yesterday. Wasn't too bad. And just loads of tree cover. This morning is supposed to be a lot of time in the woods, which would be nice. And we've got another one of these Garnicio cafe stops with the Alchemist House. I think there's also an English name for it. So that's kind of exciting. I like these wacky places. And we get lots of them on the Camino. Quite a sharpness to the air this morning, a really pleasant, strange beginning of July, but I was just looking, we're still 750 odd metres above sea level. But you get these, they remind me of the lanes we get at home. But the bit that's different is, you know, there's, gosh, I don't know, we saw half a dozen cars yesterday. There was a big Skoda that rocked up in the middle of the village, and you saw when I had the poppy, you know, the main street's pretty much closed by the cafe. That's all the chairs and tables coming out across, and it's really incongruous seeing this black car rock up. What's that about? So it's just a rural idyll that pretty tough if you're trying to make a living from farming here. Although I was chatting to the Albagione that walked the Camino in 21. He was saying that I'm not sure if it's peculiar to the businesses on the Camino or all of Spain, but they don't pay any taxes, restaurants, on their food and stuff. So you know, they charge 12-15 euros for a 3-course meal and a bottle of wine and some water. And they said you can still actually make a profit from that, and that's because the taxes are just so low. Did a quick search on the internet and it would £30 Roman Garrix. And that was suggesting you paid a 10% tax on restaurants. So I'm wondering whether there's a special dispensation for businesses along the Camino who's just ridiculously cheap. And he said that there's loads of businesses, there's actually no competition between each other. Everybody's allowed to just go and do their own bit. So you get the Camino bubble of walking along here. This kind of tunnel of love. It really is. That, although the businesses have to have a foot in the Camino world, this bubble that pilgrims walk along, and a foot in the, you know, the business world. The business world is still way different to business world outside of the Camino community. Oh, it's actually cold enough that my hand's quite cold holding the camera. You know, you get those February mornings when you get a frosty, sun comes out and you get a frosty morning. Obviously we've not got a frost here, but it's similar. It's a lovely freshness. So they're quite difficult to read. 129,000 metres, or we'll go kilometres, 129 kilometres. So we won't quite break the 100 kilometre barrier today, because it's about 18, I think, to Sarria, which is where most people do their 100-kilometre walk to get their certificate from the Compostela. Interestingly, we were talking about the idea that you can buy pardons from the Catholic Church, and apparently that's the main reason that people do that last 100 kilometres is to get their pardon. That's definitely not our reason for walking it. And bizarrely, well, it's exciting, obviously, going to break the 100-kilometre mark tomorrow, but actually also quite excited about the change that's going to happen, because apparently they get so many people walk the last 100 kilometres that people get bussed in. So you can literally get coach loads of people bussed into the start each day, and they walk it, and then because there's that many people, probably a little birdie, then get bussed off at the end of the day to find some accommodation somewhere. We got, as you saw this morning, we've got a big French group in front of us. They've actually walked the whole Camino with their school in France, and they just do a week each year. And the teacher that organised it, I can't remember what year she walked it, but she walked it herself, and then was inspired to then do it with her school group. Any teachers watching? Super easy and cheap activity to go and do with your school group. You know, all the infrastructure is all there. You would need to go and get someone to drive a minibus for the ones that get food poisoning or their feet fall apart, because it's going to happen. You saw the photos I post most days of the pharmacies and the and the vending machines that sell Compeed at it's a physical undertaking to walk the Camino. Not sure this is a chapel or Ukraine, yeah. Oh, the petals. Lovely. Oh, art gallery. Yeah, that's the bit that I think sometimes people are. No pilgrim is going to go and you get all these. Not very many on the Camino, but the tatty tourist shops. It's like, you're not going to buy anything. You are not going to put any weight in the back of your rucksack. But, I mean, my favourite place to date, I've mentioned it several times, is the blacksmith's before the wine fountain. And I've got his web address and bits and pieces, and I am going to order some stuff online from him. I suppose that's the same with that art gallery. They haven't quite cottoned on. I reckon you could go and create all these sort of businesses, and if you, as part of your service, offered to post it out to wherever, then it would work. But it's not. Nobody seems to be quite that joined up. Obviously, lots of lovely little quirky places. This is this French, or part of the French school group in Brammy. Oh, that's my first cockerel this morning. So pretty, the Spanish countryside. Oh, got a frog, Kermit. Feels like going back hundreds of years, but probably more like 60. Just sort of like the dawn of mechanisation. But of course, the last 60 years, the progress has been just huge. So just think of Devon and Cornwall, but with too twee Devon and Cornwall. Too many tourists, you can't park anywhere. Devon and Cornwall are beautiful, but they've lost that rural backbone. Considering that I've said it many times, how many pilgrims walk through, you would think that the pilgrims are the mainstay of what we walk through, but it's not. It's still We're walking through rural Spain with farms with, I think one of the ones we saw yesterday had 12 cows and the other one maybe, I don't think it had 20 or 30 cows. It's like, you know, a friend of mine, his stepdaughter, she's milking 500 cows up at Torrington, talking to her boss. Look at that. Some months he breaks even with 500 cows. You know, we're talking about huge industrialised farming, and it's still not really profitable. And yet you've got people here with 12 cows and they're still making a go of it. And you think, oh, maybe it's like France, that they've got another job. Nah, the stuff that we were walking through yesterday, that was you could see that was their daily physical chore, looking after these 12 cows, milking them in a briar, probably with a single milking unit. You know, Dad started his farm with a 6.4, so that was and a breast parlour. I mean, that's way more mechanised than what we've seen here, where you go and get 6 cows into a breast parlour. It used to milk 3 at a time, and we expanded it to milk 4 at a time. And the end of the era of farming, we were milking 100 cows. We had a 6-12 herringbone parlour. Wow, we've not seen anything like that. Nuts is this, we've seen quite a lot of it, where there's a homemade gate. Okay, it's got some moss on it, so it's probably 10 years old, and we've got a modern electric fence system here, but it's going back. I'm 60. I was on Dad's farm when I was 12, so 50 odd years ago. Yeah, and even then we used to buy galvanised gates. So yeah, maybe we're going back 100 years. Although the weird bit is, you know, they've got some nice little four-wheel drive tractors and bits and pieces, which they're definitely not 100 years old. With the sun just breaking through the trees. It was unusual, wet underfoot, a bit of a stream. This is like so many Devon lanes where you might, if you're lucky, get half an hour maybe going up one of these. Just think of that times 1,000. Welcome to northern Spain. Don't quite get the hedges on the top, so we got the, I mean, this is not, they're not, well, they are embankments either side. And it's just so quiet. I'm going to chase up Milandi. She should be finished this end of this month. Be really nice to go and do some off-road camping trips with her in North Devon and Wales. But she's definitely coming across on a ferry to explore rural Spain. Crazy bit is you get a field here, but then that's unfarmed land at the top and unmanaged forest to our left. It's just everywhere. We don't get that in England. You know, there's nothing's unfarmed, unmanaged. Ooh. Why they have such big ones. I think, oh, it's a cattle drinking trough, but look, there's a bit here for you put your soap, and there's even a piece they kind of sculptured it underneath with slate, so you can put your legs underneath, do your washing on here. Look, it's another one actually, another one, 3. Then it's like there's no settlement here. What's going on? At the moment there was a incredible, yeah, I guess there was a bit of a farm back there. It'd be amazing for them to come all the way up here to do that. Just look at these views. We'll be just ticking along this after our little climb, and you can't hear any internal combustion engine anywhere. I mean, they clearly are out. There's some big bales down there, little villages, and so you're just walking along. Yeah, 2 hours, and we've not come across a car or heard one in the distance. It's going to be interesting when we get to Sarria, because we've been walking a couple of hours this morning, and we've just seen one small group of school teachers that we passed. Other than that, we've been utterly by ourselves. You couldn't see anybody in front or behind you. So the peace and the immersion in nature is just amazing. Did have a car go past a second ago. We have seen one car. Ridiculous number of waypoints, 125k. They use waypoint markers as or distance markers as arrows as well. So just everywhere English. Down bit. It's been down for a while. This is really steep down. It's a job in it to catch how steep stuff is on camera, but it's probably on the limit of what you can walk without steps. They're almost every couple hundred metres. Oh, yeah. Oh, the sun's coming through the trees. Nice. Another pilgrim. So just listen to that water singing. Gary's doing the same. Just beautiful sound of running water. The birds singing. Sun, blue sky. Sounds like an old church. Strong smell of hay and some cattle. Different breed of cattle. It's the horns that throw me. It's actually really nice seeing cattle with horns. Just so used to seeing them all polled at home. And the theory is they'll hurt themselves, but it's actually like, okay. Show me the spike. Yeah, I know. She's telling me I'm going the wrong way, but I'm going to film the cows. I'm going to film cows. Yeah, little cuties. Not like North Devons, but I think you are. I think that's the water. It is definitely the overflow. Hello, you know, boy. Oh, there's more cows. Definitely in the cattle country all of a sudden. Yeah, taking life. It's lovely walking through these villages, and you end up walking through the hearts of the farms, which are actually the heart of the village. Even on the footpaths at home, it's rare it goes through a farm. It does on occasion. Got a 2-furrow reversible plough. Oh, what do I reckon? List a generator. Doop, 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 doop. I remember them saying about vending machine coming out of nowhere. What's the choices? All the Powerades, we'll leave those alone. Coke, leave those alone. Chocolate, cold coffees, crisps, biscuits. From this place. How cool's that? And we've got some cool tractors. We got a Ford. Oh yeah, Cat, yeah, about a Pounce. And used to have a 3000. Oh, it's not a Ford. Ebro. Looks like a Ford. I wonder if it's like Massey Ferguson, yeah. Went and did a deal with a Ford. Whoop! You spoilt someone else's life. Success? No.
No.
Oh, a little coffee. Just a, there we go, we almost walked past it. No. Smile, that's me. Look at all the shells.
Wow. Hi guys.
Hello. The shell project. Oh. Right. Heard somebody, yeah, they got lots of cool, really cool stuff there. A little bit yogurty. Just talking about Kia. There's some homemade Kia in there, which I've not tried before, as opposed to the supermarket bought stuff, which is dead, I suspect. The one I've just eaten definitely wasn't. Slightly fizzy. Slightly acidic, slightly yeasty, slightly yogurty. Nice. The dark red cows have just managed to get an internet connection. Look at the water tank at the top there. The second one of those we've seen. A Salers, which originate from a central massive.
Sorry. What's that?
A water tank. So they pump your water up there, and then that gives you water pressure for the house. We see it. That's the second one we've seen, and on the same concrete pole. Look at that. Oh, cool. We did, but it's like going to the sea. But we're a couple of weeks away from the sea. Actually, well, a bit less than that probably. I want to sound my gates. Everyone's going to see this and think, you're back in Devon. It's like, no, we're in Galicia. It's only when you go through the villages and the farms that you realise you're not in Devon. Like, oh, yeah, okay. But walking down a little lane like this, we could be. All the moss. Oh, I tell you what's not here. Oh, there is here. Neighbour work. So that's edible. Yeah, nice cucumbery flavour. But they've not got much neighbour work. We've got masses at home. Subtle change in the flora. No big surprise here. We're 700 metres, I think, somewhere around now. But, walk back because I suddenly realised I walked across this lovely bit and didn't film it. We were too busy talking about. I watched a TED talk a while back. I think I mentioned it before. And a woman, her job is to, as part of a large team, to constantly monitor the countries around the world and report back to Central Intelligence those that are likely to lapse into civil war. And she's the only person in the team that's not in the armed forces, and so the others aren't able to speak freely, but she can because she's just Tom, Dick and Harry, I guess, but a professor from university. And she was saying that America hits all the criteria for a civil war. And I was talking to a pilgrim on the Camino from the States, and he said it's no real big shakes, is it? Because although lots of Americans have got automatic weapons and ridiculous arsenals compared to Europe, if they start messing around with posing a threat to the civilian population, the army's just going to take them out straight away. You're just going to get a helicopter gunship, launch one rocket, gone. It's like, oh yeah, you're absolutely right. So I guess they're kind of thinking if society breaks down, which I don't know. I'm going to say it doesn't happen, but as I can't remember who somebody said, you might remember that we're only 3 meals away from Armageddon. Well, not Armageddon, but breakdown of society. That the farmers like to remind us that, and it's actually a fair thing to remind us. 3 meals away from anarchy. There you go. That's the quote I was trying to remember. That it's that law of threes, which is not a law at all, but 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. But, we do live in the Western world in a land of plenty, as you've just seen from that incredible little cafe shop with donations. So, what an incredible spread of food. This has reminded me how much I've enjoyed actually not walking with the cyclists. And just to remind you, I'm a passionate cyclist. We've done cycled John O'Groats Land End on a very long route, over 1100 miles. Very passionate cyclist. I'm going to do some more cycle expeditions. But cyclists and walkers don't particularly go well together. Well, they do on this bit. Well, they can whiz down the road and we can walk on the side.
Camino.
Yo! And weirdly, if I was at home and I was walking along next to Hexter Canal, it's incredibly boring and monotonous. Actually incredibly short, really. I don't know what it is. Not very far. 5 miles maybe less. But, I would be envious of the cyclists. But on the Camino, I'm not. I'm perfectly happy walking. Just heard a tractor working in the field. Woo-hoo. Actually, Exeter Canal was a bad example because it's even boring to cycle along. So yeah, it's no big deal. Just trying to think, I'm going to go left. There was a sign to a cafe and an albergue. Very relaxing, the crunch of the feet. More intensive farming enterprise, but only on Dad's scale, I reckon. When I was carving the calf units back there, a dozen maybe. So, alright, yeah. I'm going to stay in there for a couple of weeks. Can't have much more than 60 cows, I can have thought. I think I didn't push the video, but I think I've got a 0 grazing halves to go and cut the grass every day. Cattle stay inside and they bring them fresh grass. It's a fantastic trail today. Just look at this countryside. Loads of big grass silage. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Welcome to Galicia. Take that for a walk. You can't see them, but there were some Holstein Friesians up there, which are sort of a version of a H1 hybrid crop. Fantastic milk yields, but they're not very healthy beasts. They're always skin and bones because they produce such a huge amount of milk. And then, just like the hybrid cereal crops and plants and bits and pieces, they produce so much milk. You have to feed them a lot of cake, artificial food with high protein and energy, and that makes their feet go soft, so they go lame. They pick up stones in their feet. It's just one of those unpleasant bits of industrialised farming, as opposed to that pretty little cafe. Do we want a cafe now? We've just seen Sarria. It's about 6k away. Rural life in the hills. Don't think we're in the mountains anymore. Gosh, the weather's gorgeous. It's interesting how we've cattle breeds have changed from mountain breeds to the equivalent to a hybrid cow, Friesian Holstein. Watching agricultural enterprises go a bit bigger. Still super dinky, really. Nice healthy looking girls. Oh, someone working a vegetable patch. I've got a treat. I think they're green gauges. They are yummy. I'll show those we're carrying them in. That she's working there, but we've got the modern mobile hung up on the side. She's working the field by hand. Old and new, working in harmony with each other. Cracking. Seed test. Can't really tell the difference between the different plots apart from the numbers. Apparently even the Aztecs did that. I reckon it was an agricultural testing station, and I reckon it was sorted out for different climatic regions in the Aztec Empire, so they could choose what seeds would grow best in the different climates in their empire. How cool is that? And the Americans, I think it was 1920s, that they created something called land farms, where the local farmers would get together and suss out who had the best seed and then share that seed between them. It's quite nice walking down here, although we're on a much more heavily trafficked track, and it's really quite noticeable. We're getting a load of more bikes and a load of pilgrims that we haven't seen, because you tend to walk along at the same sort of pace of pilgrims. You see them at the same cafes and same alberges and restaurants and bits and pieces as the day goes. But all of a sudden we're seeing lots of new faces. We haven't quite got into Sarria. I'm just wondering whether they started at the 120 mark, so we're not going to quite make a 100-kilometre mark today, which is a bit of a shame. Do that tomorrow morning. So I think we're about 115, something like that. So I think we're probably only a kilometre or two away. Well, there you go, Kerry's just taking a picture of something. This is nuts. I was wondering what she's taking pictures of. We've got a guy farming the field, and then instead of seagulls, we've got loads and loads, can't focus in, of storks. Look at them. I've never seen so many storks. They're having a whale of a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably reversible, but that's not why we're watching it. Look, we've got a stork in front. And we'll pan around. Just look at all these storks. I thought we got a lot of seagulls on our fields at home. But it's not a patch on all these storks. Taking a long time to see some goats. And I was thinking, oh, maybe it's a city farm, but I think the guy farms them properly. These dogs in pastures are quite not super common, but that's a lot of water I'm carrying. And of course this, we caught them going out. We're loving this. Oh wow, goats on steroids. Oh, gone into the neighbour's field. This is great. Today was cows. Put them in this field here. We've got have you ever heard of goats? I don't know. She's struggling with it. Very sad. We're here. We've seen the goats, we can move on now. We're just in the suburbs of town. That's where we're staying in this block. Seems to be lots of tower blocks. I'm going to see what the old town's like in a second. Get something to eat. Having a swim in Sarria. Whoa. It's a wee bit cold and it's raining, so I'm going to have to get out because I'm getting wet. But it's nice. Geese are cheesed off for me. Good little swim spot. I'm going to clear the waters. Little bridge. In Sarria. Smiling because what's this 111? There's one in town that said 114. It's about that. It's about as good as you get. You get there when you get there.
yeah. So